Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the AT&T Countdown to Kickoff. It has been a busy and eventful week for Atlanta United, and that continues on Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the defending MLS Cup champion Columbus Crew coming to town. So, Jason, the last time we did the AT&T Countdown to Kickoff, we were previewing the New England match. I made a horrible prediction about a ton of goals being scored in that match, but um, Atlanta United lost the match 1-0. And then the next day, they parted ways with Gabriel Heinze, their head coach. Now it's Rob Valentino as the interim head coach. They have since played another match, which we're going to show you in a moment, Wednesday night against Cincinnati. But it has been obviously a very eventful week for Atlanta United. And I thought the way that the team responded on Wednesday, especially emotionally, was very, very good.
Yeah, it's been a really eventful last week in Atlanta United's universe, and a lot of things have been, I think, out of the players' control. And I was really impressed with how they got down to business on Wednesday in Cincinnati and bounced back after conceding a goal against the run of play. The second half, and whatever Rob Valentino said and did at halftime with the group, had a huge impact on how they performed in the second 45. I thought Atlanta United was excellent. I thought their play deserved more. They ultimately, as the story of the season has gone, they didn't get the goals to get the result that I thought their play deserved. That has to change. But there's a lot of positives to take away from that Cincinnati match. It's a good performance on the road. And most importantly, it's a good response to all the chaos that is swirling around the players and it's out of their control. And a good response to conceding first and coming back and getting a point.
Yeah, I agree. I think that stood out the most to me, just how upbeat the group was going into the match and how upbeat they were leaving the match on Wednesday, that they felt really good about the effort that they put in Cincinnati. It's a road point, and road points are always good in Major League Soccer. I think we need to remember every team in this league is good. Anytime you can get a result on the road, you've done something well. And Atlanta United was really close to getting 3 points in this match on Wednesday because of how they ended the match. Let's take a look at those highlights, Jason, and go through it.
Yeah, they could have easily gotten 3 points out of this. Started very brightly in this match. A big opportunity that Vermeer is able to knock down. Kenneth Vermeer had himself a night for Cincinnati. One of the things that stood out to me throughout the full 90 for Atlanta United was how good they were defensively in Cincinnati's half. They really made it difficult for Cincy to play out of the back and create anything. Now, when Cincinnati got into the attacking half, they were dangerous, as we saw Luciano Acosta with a great opportunity, Alec Can with another big save. As good as Kenneth Vermeer was in this match, Alec Can was very good as well, with some key saves in key moments. Marcelo Moreno had a huge night for Atlanta United. That was a rocket that Vermeer is able to push wide. They came out of the locker room in the second half, and I thought Atlanta took the initiative early on. Again, Cincinnati, when they did get their opportunities, they did prove to be dangerous. This is a great move from Luciano Acosta, followed by an even better shot. I thought Atlanta came out and was the better team in the second half, but Cincy gets the goal here. We were wondering what the response is going to be after this crazy week. It was pretty quick that Brooks Lennon drives into the 18, a different kind of run than we've seen from him, gets through Machop Chol. I think he lets that go. And Ronald Hernandez, who we did not have on our bingo card, is scoring a goal in this one. Ronald Hernandez gets the goal, and that's a great finish. That's a great finish from Ronald Hernandez as you see it from behind him. He had a big goal for Venezuela. He has a big goal for Atlanta United. It's 1-1, and they didn't settle for it. Huge save from Vermeer again. Joseph Martinez forces a big save on the free kick. I thought Joseph looked lively when he came on in the second half. But it looked like when this play was developing, I was on the edge thinking this is where the winner's going to come, and I got to make sure I don't fall out of the booth. But what a save from Kenneth Vermeer on Marcelino Moreno 1v1. It looked like that would be it for Atlanta. They'd find a way to win. Vermeer with yet another big save, and it's a 1-1 draw that had a lot of things to take away from it.
It did. Vermeer was good. So was Alec Can. We're going to hear from Alec in a moment, but first, here's Rob Valentino.
It was a good performance from the team. I mean, it's a big point away from home. I think this club does expect to win every time that they're out on the pitch, whether they're home or away. How do you plan on just managing that priority of getting points, climbing the table, but also keeping the team confident in their performances week in and week out?
Yeah, I mean, it was something as the game started to progress. Obviously, didn't plan on them scoring first, and that wasn't part of the game plan. But when it happened, I thought we were already going to make the changes that we made at that time right after the goal. Didn't make them quick enough, but I don't think that changed anything. I don't think that was the reason. I think in terms of in terms of the way that I thought they impacted the game, I thought those, especially with the subs, I thought we can go and win this game. Like we are expected. I think at Atlanta United, we talk about winning games, and these are moments that, we should. Do we win on the road or do we win at home? It's just picking up points. But I think the game, the way it played out, I thought, and I talked to the staff, I said, we need to look when we end up getting the goal. I said, we need to look at this and see, do we manage this or do we push it? And I wanted to push it for as long as we could until the moment where I thought we might not. But I mean, even at the end, I don't know if I have it in me to sit back. I feel like the club wants, they don't care if you win 7-4 or they don't want it to be not exciting. So I thought, well, let's go push it and see what we got. And the boys really, they're the ones that push it, right? Like I'm on the sideline and I can only do so much, but and that's a long-winded answer. But I thought there was moments where we talked to the staff is I want to win this game and I want to win it for them. I want them to get this glory, but at some point we will settle for the point and we'll be happy with that. But the performance is where we're looking at.
Alec, what does Rob just brought to this team this week?
I think a lot of energy. He's a guy that we really want to fight for. He's a guy that has a lot of relationships with guys in the locker room that are pre-existing for a couple of years. He's a guy that we respect and we know how he works, how hard he works, how much he cares about us. And, that's the kind of manager that you want to go to war for.
All right, so 22 shots for Atlanta United on Wednesday. 14 came in the second half. That's the most second half shots they've had in a match since the 2018 season. They had 12 corners, but 10 in the second half. They had 14 key passes, 9 in the second half. They had 9 shots on frame, 6 in the second half. I think you see where I'm going with this. Atlanta United really was starting to unlock some things in the attack in the second half. One of the things I really enjoyed when watching that Ronald Hernandez goal again, Jason, count the number of Atlanta United players in the box. Right. It really felt like, especially after Joseph came in, and Matt State might have had something to do with it because Cincinnati was protecting a 1-0 lead at that point, but it really felt like Atlanta United did an excellent job of getting players into dangerous spots in the second half of that match on Wednesday.
Yeah, Atlanta really forced Cincinnati back, even to the point that Cincinnati had to retreat into a line of 5 defensively at home, even after it was 1-1, just to try to get out of there with a result. That was a little surprising on Jaap Stam's part, and I think it's a credit to the attack and how dangerous it was from Atlanta United. Rob Valentino mentioned it in his post-game comments about how he wondered a little bit how much they would have to be able to go for it once it got to 1-1. And the guys did. I mean, they were going for it all the way up to that final whistle. We saw that opportunity for Marcelo Moreno in stoppage time. He had another one that he almost created after that at the very, very end. They did not feel satisfied with the result. They kept trying to turn it into 3 points. But I think the team as a whole was satisfied with the level of performance and the work that was put in to the match. They just want 3 points to come out of that next time.
Well, Marcelino Moreno certainly did everything he could to try to will Atlanta United to 3 points on Wednesday. I thought it was a terrific performance from him, and I feel like, again, we've said this a couple times this year, boy, that felt like Marcelino's best match in an Atlanta United shirt. He's had a couple of those recently. But I was really, really impressed with what he was able to turn in Wednesday night, what he's done over the last couple of weeks as well.
He's been so good here lately. I think his last 3 games have all been very, very strong. Marcelino Moreno is a really underrated player, in my opinion, because he does so many different things. Is he world class in any individual area? Probably not. But he does a little bit of everything. He can be a player who is involved in linking the play. He can be a player who can just run past you, as we see on this one, the Eric Lopez goal. He's got a great amount of speed. He's great on the dribble. I think one of the things that stands out to me more and more as we see him is how smart he is about situations, how smart he is about moments in games. That Nashville game, being a man down late, he just kept drawing fouls just to break up the play. He's a great passer. He creates opportunities for others. He is a guy who can get you goals as well. And he's a player, and we've talked about it a lot here lately, who's got that long-range shot, but he's also got the ability to defend. And when Santi Sosa or Amar Sejdic or Mateo Sosetu step forward and join the attack, Moreno's comfortable dropping for them and doing the defensive work. He's a creative passer. He's a creative player. That long-range shot, it feels like he's going to get one of these here at some point. Marcelino Moreno, if he had scored this goal in Cincinnati, if he had been able to finish this, and that kind of a run at that point in the match, that's what? I think he started that with Mulroney at least 10 yards inside his half. 91st minute of a lot of work put into that game on short rest to make a, 60, 65-yard run at full speed. It feels like every game we need to go get a cart to bring Marcelino Moreno off. He leaves everything out there. I love his personality on the field. I love the work that he puts in, and I love how well-rounded he is as a player.
Now, to your point about being well-rounded, he's now third in MLS in successful dribbles. He's third in MLS in duels won. Examples of how he is a very multifaceted player. Now, the twos have had a little bit of misfortune because so many players who might be in the second group right now have had to play in the first group, so they had to take a somewhat shorthanded side up to Louisville on the weekend. It's difficult to play in Louisville in the first place, but when you're without some veteran players, it makes it very, very difficult, doesn't it?
It does. The first half, Atlanta United 2 was able to get through it scoreless. The second half, Louisville City's experience started to show as Atlanta's young players got tired. A well-worked goal for Lou City opened the scoring not quite midway through the first half. Napo Matsoso got the goal off of an assist from Kyle Gregg. It's a tough battle right now for Jack Collison's group. That's an outstanding goal that Rocco Rios Novo has no chance to keep out. A player with MLS experience in Jimmy McLaughlin. That's the challenge that this team faces at times, is you will get very young at these points in the season, and you're relying on teenagers to play big minutes on the road against veteran teams. The results can be a challenge at times through that. Jack Collison, I think, has worked really well with the young group that he has, but you're going to get some nights like this one in Louisville where they weren't able to control the possession. Louisville had 52% of it. They didn't get a shot on goal. They only had 6 on the day, 11 shots in total. It's hard to put up the kind of performance with a young team featuring lots of teenagers over 90 minutes. And I think that's what Jack Collison is trying to change with this group. Is instead of just a good 45 that you can hang your hat on the road, keeping Louisville off the board, getting it to halftime scoreless, can next time you take it to 60? Can you take it to 75? Can you start to rely a little bit more on some of the teenagers coming through? It was a debut for Noah Cobb, who played 61 minutes in a midfield role. Johnny Fortune has come back into the team, playing very, very well here as of late. But you're relying on a young group, and you don't have the Josh Bowers right now because he's on the bench with the first team if needed. You're not able to send a Mikey Ambrose to play and give Caleb Wiley a break on a regular basis because he's needed with the first team. You're not even able to send a Ben Lungard or an Alec Can to give Rocco Rios Novo a night off and maybe get a veteran voice in there defensively. So you're relying on Bradley Camden-Feo, your captain, who can play anywhere on the back line to do all of that at times. You're relying on Bryce Washington, who's only a handful of games into his pro career, and he had a good performance in Louisville. And that's one of the things that I took away from it. Bryce Washington continuing to grow as a center back that helps the depth overall. Connor Stanley continuing to put in performances in tough spots, the player on loan from Manchester United. Could he be somebody that maybe you want to try to get to stick around? Matias Benitez on loan from River Plate. Is he somebody that might stick around? Robbie Mertz, is he a player who maybe pushes for a first-team contract here soon? You're looking at a lot of the individual performances in some of these kinds of games, but we'll see the Twos back at Fifth Third Bank Stadium this week, and maybe with, probably not, because I think I'm trying to be optimistic here and find some way that somebody can go play for the Twos. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I think you're going to be looking at more academy guys, and it's going to be a challenge, but you're at home as Tulsa comes to town. And last time Tulsa came in, they really struggled at Fifth Third Bank Stadium, so you're hoping for another 5 spot.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. And as Jason said, that'll be next week. Now, transitioning back to MLS, it's been a busy week across the league, not just with Atlanta United, kind of a full fixture sheet on Wednesday night, a couple more matches on Thursday night. Let's look at the results here. Columbus obviously coming into Atlanta on Saturday, played Nashville to a scoreless draw. Both teams had players out. New England, after winning in Atlanta, turns around, goes down to Fort Lauderdale, and scores 5. How about that?
That's a little scary for Miami. Blaise Matuidi only played 45 minutes in that one, and he has been pretty poor lately. I don't know what's going on there. These are the kinds of results that send off some big alarm bells, and a lot of the talk worldwide this past week has been Phil Neville and his job security. I don't think it's just the manager in Miami's case. So they have some issues with their lineup from week to week, and Phil Neville can only do so much from the touchline. I don't know what else he can really do with that group at the moment. Other results that jumped out to me, Chicago, D.C., a 2-2 draw. Dallas continues to struggle, and Colorado continues to impress with a 2-0 win for the Rapids. Portland with a late winner over LAFC. That's a big one. That was much needed. Giovanni Savarese loved to see that one. Orlando grinded out a 2-1 win over Philadelphia. They had to really suffer late in that one. Kyle Smith took a shot off the face very late to keep that out. And Seattle took 5 teenagers in the starting lineup down to Austin and ended up getting a golazo from Raul Ruidiaz to win last night. A really surprising result when you looked at that absence list for the Sounders.
But that Ruidiaz goal was world-class, maybe the goal of the year in MLS, or it's certainly going to be in the conversation. Very, very long-distance chip for Ruidiaz that had a lot of pace and velocity on it as well. If you haven't seen it, it was a beautiful goal. So fair play to Ruidiaz of the Sounders. Here now are the fixtures for the coming weekend in MLS. They're calling this Week 15, and it'll be started on ABC Saturday, 3:30 with Atlanta United hosting Columbus Crew. But what else stands out to you here, Jason, with some of the fixtures?
You've got some rivalry matches this weekend with Nashville and Cincinnati. Really curious to see what the crowd looks like. Curious to see how many folks come down from Cincinnati for that one. Those teams did not like one another in USL Championship. Curious to see if that crosses over. RSL and Colorado, Rocky Mountain Cup. The last couple of times in that series, the visiting team has won big by 3 or more goals the last 2 times. Will that happen again with Colorado going to RSL? And in DC and Red Bulls, those 2 teams have hated each other from day one. They had a fight, I think, game 1 in 1996. What does that look like? 2 very combative teams that could have a lot of friction on the field. Those 3 with the rivalry aspects are what I'm looking for. I'm also looking to see what Miami can do to get up off the mat after a 5-0 loss with Philadelphia coming to town. Not the kind of team you want to see coming into town when you're struggling.
And they're feeling pressure, too, as you've outlined. But for Atlanta United, here's the resumption of this kind of, bizarre ebb and flow series with Columbus Crew. It's going to be the 9th time that they've played a league match. Atlanta United won the first 4 regular season matches. Columbus has won the next 4 regular season matches. Weird. There was a draw in the midst of that Atlanta United win streak in a playoff game, which Columbus won on penalties. There was an Atlanta win in the midst of those 4 Columbus victories, a U.S. Open Cup match. But Columbus certainly last year dominated the series, kept Atlanta United off the board in Orlando. And then actually I thought Atlanta on decision day played pretty well in Columbus, but Columbus won and went on to win the MLS Cup final. They do have a lot of players out this week. One player that they still have, though, unfortunately for Atlanta United, is Lucas Elarayan.
Yeah, such a dangerous player, the Argentine attacking midfielder coming in from Tigres in Mexico, one of the best signings of the last couple of years. Look at how he hits this thing. He comes across it, and it's like a low slice that the goalkeeper, Kenneth Vermeer, doesn't even move on. Zelarayan, I think, does a lot in terms of scoring big goals, and we get excited about that. But he's also a creator. He's also a playmaker. And he can put it on a platter for others when he needs to as well. Great dribbler. Set pieces is what scares me the most about him. Delivery to others, absolutely. But free kicks from shooting range, Lucas Zelarayan can hurt you. And he's been known to do it consistently in this league. He did it in Mexico. Look at it right here from the top of the 18. Those are the types of fouls that Atlanta United has to avoid. I mean, goalkeepers flat-footed on free kicks from that kind of a distance. You don't see that very much, but you can look at the ball dancing on it. He single-handedly came back to beat New York City on free kicks. That's how dangerous he can be. Lucas Zelarayan is the player that terrifies me for Columbus, and most importantly, in those free kicks from inside of 30 yards, in shooting range, dead ball situations, Lucas Zelarayan can turn a game on its head.
Yeah, and I guess it's a little bit unrealistic to say that Atlanta United just flat out can give up 0 set pieces inside of 30 yards, right? Like, it's going to happen. So Atlanta United just needs to, I guess, be prepared for it and execute their set piece defending, because giving up or set pieces in that spot of the park are pretty much unavoidable, aren't they?
They're tough. You want to really be thoughtful about those moments, though. And look, we know Atlanta United will get numbers forward. We know they will try to defend as far away from their goal as possible. That sometimes breaks down. Where you foul when the play breaks down will be very, very important. You know, you're going to miss a tackle. You're going to be late. You're going to clip somebody. That's fine. But where you're trying to break up a play, if you can't do that in the middle third, it's not worth the foul inside of 30 yards. It's not worth even the attempt. If at that point you've just got to try to take away something from him, if you're chasing from behind, don't stab in, recklessly and give away something cheap. Try to take away one side. Try to force him to run towards where you have a little more help. Things like that. So I'm really looking at guys like Sosa, like Sejdic, maybe Josetu, Moreno. Make sure they're very careful in not giving away cheap fouls and giving Zelarayan those opportunities.
All right, time now for predictions, on which I whiffed horrendously last week when I thought there would be at least 5 goals scored in that Atlanta United-New England match. Turns out I was off by 4, so I haven't been very good at these predictions lately. And look, this is a tricky match. It's 2 teams that their goal-scoring totals have been low this year. Columbus's assist totals are the lowest in the league right now. They've taken, I think, the fewest corners of any team in the league. So I am going to predict that, you know what? I'll go all out and say Atlanta United. I don't know if they'll win, but I predict Atlanta United will get a clean sheet for Alec Cannon. By the way, I think Alec has been very, very good in these 3 matches he started in goal for Atlanta United. You look at the 4 goals he's given up: a penalty, a deflection, a set piece, and then that Acosta kind of curler, which was a very nice shot on Wednesday. So Alec not at fault in any of the 4 goals. I'm going to say Alec Cannon gets a clean sheet for Atlanta United on Saturday.
This is a tough one to call. We're in that part of the schedule where it's hard to predict how these games are going to go with all of the absences, with new players emerging in the run of play, with teams on short rest right now as well. I am going to predict as we saw in Cincinnati, Atlanta United was a little more willing to take shots from distance. They were also creating more centrally. I am going to predict that Atlanta United scores a goal from outside the 18. They have been close multiple times here lately. Moreno, not just Moreno, Josetu's got a bomb from distance as well. Sosa can step up and hit that shot from distance as well. I feel like they're due. I feel like you've got to find one of those. Hey, maybe you get a fortunate deflection too. I don't care. Find the back of the net on a shot from outside the 18. That is my prediction for Atlanta United.
You know who almost scored from outside the 18 on Wednesday night? Joseph Martinez.
Yes, he did.
On a free kick, right?
Yes, he did.
Maybe it's even Joseph. I don't know if he's had too many goals from outside the 18. He did have one in Portland. He chipped in Portland 2 years ago. I do remember that. So it's not like it's never happened, but maybe it'll end up being Joseph Martinez. It's going to be a good match. The stadium's going to be open all three levels on Saturday, nationally televised on ABC. So it's going to be a big day Saturday in downtown Atlanta. And we hope you will join us either in person, or if you can't, we hope you'll join us on the radio on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game, where Jason and I will have the match call at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Want to thank you for joining us on the AT&T Countdown to Kickoff. Next week, it'll be match day, Friday, when Atlanta United is in Orlando. We hope we will see you for that. Thanks for joining us.